Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
And welcome, everyone, to a special edition of High School Basketball Weekly, the Western Mass Basketball Tournament Preview Show. I'm Tim Morey, alongside of my co-host here, Rick Bua. And Rick, can you believe it? The regular season over, tournament play is starting.
I can't get over it, Tim. This is it's a good time. It's a great time for us. We really enjoy this. It's almost coming to an end, which is rather sad because I'm always looking forward to December when we start the High School Basketball Weekly show. But it's the teams have played their 18, 19, or 20 games, whatever was ever on the regular schedule, and the official seedings will come out tomorrow, Saturday. And we'll see what happens. But we use the Walker system to the best of our ability, getting coaches' comments, and we'll see how close we come with our projections here tonight.
And we're going to have a guest in just a moment to talk to us about the Walker rating system, Rick. This is actually the last year that the Walker rating system is going to be used, as the MIA is going to be moving to a different system next year, Max Prep, in anticipation for a statewide tournament. We've been reading about it and the idea that the sectional tournaments are going to be eliminated and everyone is going to play statewide, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that looks like that is on the horizon if this MIAA proposal is adopted. And actually, we caught up earlier in the season with sports columnist Howard Herman, who talked a little bit about this new proposed system, which is set to be adopted by the MIAA.
First of all, it's going to pass. Don't even worry about it. You know, in a couple of years, it'll happen. I don't know. I've been torn on it. You know, I'll wake up tomorrow and think it's a pretty good idea, and then I'll wake up on Tuesday and think it's a terrible idea. I was just talking to someone, we were just talking about that. My biggest concern is less about the tournament and more about what it might do for all the various leagues in the state. It seems like it points everybody into a leagueless, high school schedule. And I'm not sure I like that idea.
Right, it kind of does away with the traditional rivalries and things of that sort.
Well, if you look at football in the fall, as I've told other people, the biggest game in Berkshire County this year was a game that didn't matter. It was the Wahconah-Hoosick game after both had been eliminated from the tournament. There were full house at Wahconah, great atmosphere. I was told I wasn't there. But, the idea that the Berkshire County teams don't play each other by and large anymore is something that's been lost a little bit to history.
I think it'll be a shame if the sectional tournament goes away, especially for Western Mass. It's such a wonderful event, a wonderful atmosphere down at the Cage that I don't think this is a step in the right direction, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I agree, Tim. I think they're doing it for numerous reasons. I think they're going to find out that they may have made a mistake. When you have teams in Berkshire County having to go to Cape Cod or vice versa, with the 3-4 hour travel time. It's not what it's supposed to be. Your goals are supposed to be to win, go to Western Mass and make it to the Cage, which is a big deal for a lot of these kids.
Right. And you've heard us talk about the Walker rating system, and right now we have our local expert on the Walker rating system, the Lady Blue Devils basketball coach, Ian Downey, and we want to thank Ian for joining us here to talk about the Walker rating system.
Berkshire County teams sometimes have issues with is the actual strength of schedule portion of it, where when you're looking at these teams, what the strength of schedule actually does is it takes all the teams from a division, so say Division III, and lumps them as one big group. And the problem with that is we all know that the team who's the best in Division III and the team who's the worst in Division III are not the same. But the problem is the Walker system actually treats them all the same. So what that ends up happening is us Berkshire County teams, we might think we actually played a harder schedule, where the Walker system says, no, you didn't.
Yeah, for instance, if there's no eyeball test, so to speak, involved in a Walker rating system. So like you said, it doesn't matter, and I give an example here. We talked a little bit about this on the show. Hoosick Valley, for instance, they played earlier in the season St. Mary's of Lynn, who I just saw this week was rated number 5 in the state by the Boston Herald in Eastern Mass for Division III. overall for all schools, they were rated number 5. So they basically, St. Mary's will win that game for Hoosick Valley doesn't matter any more than any other Division III team.
Yeah, just like they played us. There's no difference. I mean, St. Mary's they probably made the tournament, so it will help them a little bit in that regards. But that's the same as them playing East Hampton. East Hampton made the tournament, but if Hoosick had played East Hampton, they would get the exact same amount of points for playing them.
Coach, you had mentioned to us off air, and it kind of I had forgotten about this, but I know you do a lot of work during the year to keep a spreadsheet to follow some of the teams, logically including your own. And last year you saw a discrepancy, and you called the MIA out on it, and you actually pleaded and won your case.
Yeah, so I mean, this is my third year coaching, so I haven't had a ton of experience with Walker. But my first year, when the seedings came out, I thought, like most Berkshire County teams, we had a strong strength of schedule, and we got seeded last and had to go on the road, obviously, and play Greenfield. So last year, I did my own Walker system to try and kind of see as the season went on what was happening. And when today happened, which is the day before the tournament, I did my own Walker. I thought we were going to be the 8 seed and Mahar was going to come to us. Well, when the seeds came out, I actually saw that we were heading to Mahar. So I double-checked all my stuff, and then I pleaded my case to the MIA. They went back, reviewed the numbers, and lo and behold, I was actually correct and they were wrong. And the thing to always remember about the Walker system is that any tiny mistake doesn't just affect that team, it affects all the teams within the division. So whether someone is put in as the wrong division, or someone was given a win instead of a loss, or whatever it may be, or someone was said that they were in the tournament or not in the tournament, all that stuff can affect it. So I think it is important for coaches to know before the seeds come out what they think they might be, and if there is a discrepancy, have them go double check, triple check, and make sure that it is actually correct.
Okay. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us here in this special tournament preview show. We really appreciate it, your explanation on the Walker rating system, and it looks like this is the last year that we're going to have to deal with it. But we want to thank you very much for providing us with that information. And at this point, Rick, let's get right into it. We're going to give you now our projected seeds for the Division IV Western Mass girls. And based upon the Walker rating system, a team that we have rated number 1 in Division III throughout the year, pretty much on High School Basketball Weekly. Munson gets the number 1 seed with a record of 18-2. And you'll see, looking at that rating system, bunched in there at 3 and 4, Lennox and Lee. And I think that's a tribute for Lennox and Lee in Division IV to the quality of opponents that they faced in Berkshire County this year.
Yeah, they were two of the better teams in the South, along with Mount Greylock, of course, and Division III Drury also gave them a real battle. So good for them. They could play 10 times and probably split, Tim. I really feel that way. Munson, I talked to Coach Budai at McCann about Munson, and she told me how great they were. And we project the McCann Tech Hornets, and we'll have a couple of players that we'll talk to a little bit later in the show. They came in at 11-9 and got a pretty good seed at number 7. So.
Yeah, they did. McCann coming in in the 7th spot at 11-9. Again, also a tribute to the fact that they played a little bit tougher schedule in Division IV, and we're going to get hopefully to some of the McCann players in just a minute. But brings us now to Division III, and we're going to just jump over to Division III here. The projections on the girls' side in Division III. And you look at the Division III projections, and there you have it. Number 1, Wauconah, followed by Hampshire and Hoosick. And I know this will strike a little bit of controversy as you look down the list here in Walker, because you look at the strength of schedule. I don't have too much of a problem with Wauconah being at the number 1 position there. Hampshire at number 2 is a little bit questionable given the opposition that they played this year as opposed to both Wauconah and Hoosick.
Yeah, and you and I have had Wauconah, Hoosick 1-2, one way or another all season long, with Hampshire and Greenfield under them. And yet Hampshire gets the number 2. Wauconah with the number 1, maybe because of knocking off Taconic. You could also say, why didn't Huzik get the number 2? Because they beat Wilkona twice this season, but that's the Walker system. So,
And you look at Granby, number 6. They finished with a record 10-10, just qualifying now. They're going to, if these projections hold, they will play in the opening round a preliminary game with Mount Greylock. And once again, Granby got the benefit of playing a similar kind of schedule like Hampshire, playing up Division II teams, but not necessarily good Division II teams when you really compare their record. And of course, Granby's no slouch. They're led by Nora Young, an outstanding player. We've been following her since she was a freshman. She's now a senior, 1,000-point scorer, and this is a young lady. She is going to cause a lot of headaches for teams going down the road here in this tournament. She is tall. She can play the point guard. She can post up. She's a good perimeter shooter. She can play on the block, and she's just had an outstanding career at Granby. Here you see her, playing the point and handling the pressure. So Granby is going to cause problems for teams at 10-10. And first up for Granby is Mount Greylock, and we are absolutely delighted to have with us from the Lady Mounties, Mount Greylock, head coach John Jacoby, along with Sierra Schwartzer, senior captain, and Delaney Babcock, a junior. And coach and ladies, we're pleased to have you here on this Western Mass Tournament preview show. First off, congratulations on making the Western Mass Tournament. It was quite a run, coach, for your squad here.
Yeah, our tournament basically started 2.5 weeks ago. We were 5-10, and we had a win out, and we were facing Drury, who was in the same boat as we were, and we were able to pull out a 2-point victory, and that was our first win of 5 in a row to get us in. So right now, the seedings don't matter to us. We're ready to play, and we're hoping that we're ready to play the way we played the last 2.5 weeks to get in and give whoever we face a battle.
Well, Coach, you saw some of that footage before we cut away to you folks on Nora Young. She does present, as a high school basketball player, some peculiar problems to battle her defensively because she's so multifaceted.
Yeah, she's going to be a handful. I mean, we play in the Berkshire County, and we see players like that all the time. I know she's a 1,000-point scorer, and she might be, a scorer, a point guard, a rebounder. She can do it all. And I feel confident. We have Delaney here with us, and she's been our defensive stopper. We usually put her on our opponent's best player, and we're going to ask Delaney to step up again and try to cover one of the best players in Western Mass.
Well, that's going to be quite an assignment. And I'd have to really ask Sierra at this point. Sierra, senior here for Mounties. Getting into the tournament has to be a special feeling for you as a senior, leading your squad. And, what's your feeling about tournament play coming up for the Mounties?
I mean, I'm very hopeful about it. I remember being in 8th grade and watching Jenna Benzinger and our team make it to the cage. And we were kind of the underdogs that year, and I hope that we can do that again this year because this is my first time in the tournament. And we've been on a 5-game winning streak, and our squad is finally bonding and getting together, so I'm hoping that we can pull through.
Yeah, Delaney, a quick question for you. Coach said, the tournament started, 5 games ago, so it was win all out, and you did. So does that make it a little bit easier for you going into Western Mass because it's same atmosphere,
I think that we have a better mentality as a team, and that we're going into it with, I think we all came together at the end of the season for these 5 games, and I think that we're just going to carry it through.
Right.
Delaney, you were in a position, as Rick said, of having to win out, and we followed you guys each for the last couple weeks, and we kept saying how one loss pretty much was going to do you guys in for your tournament chances, but you had a lot of very, very high-pressured games, so you think that'll help you going down the road here in this tournament?
I think that overall, I think I've become a better player this season because of the people around me on my team, and that they have really, with my injuries in the beginning of the season, really brought me up, and I think that overall we are such a better team than when we started this beginning season.
Coach, you know, you look at your team, and it's a mixture of both seniors, but you've got some younger players on this squad who are really kind of, you know, seeing tournament action, so to speak, for the first time. How do you talk to players about, you know, any kind of pressure that they might feel playing in the tournament?
Well, a lot of times newer players put self-induced pressure, and you try to teach them to play every game, every play the same. But obviously with the pressure to win every game, especially our last game, you know, we won 4 games and we had to go into Lenox, and that's a tough place to win. And we played with a lot of pressure, had a difficult time scoring, and it didn't look good there for a while. But then, you know, we had a no-quit attitude, and we played tremendous defense against Lenox. So I'm hoping our defense will stay as strong again if we play Granby or whoever we play, and then we get some confidence and score some early baskets and just play the way we're capable of. I don't think we put 4 great quarters together, and tournament time we're hoping to do that, where we play a 32-minute consistent game, and like I said, just give whoever we face a dogfight, and if we win, move on, and if we lose, make them do everything in their power to beat us, because we're not going to go down without a fight.
Well, Coach, ladies, we want to first congratulate you on a great season and qualifying for the Division III Western Mass Tournament. It's been some time since Greylock's been in, but congratulations to a great run that you've had, and we want to wish you the best of luck in your upcoming game. And it looks, from our projection, you'll be traveling to Granby, so good luck, and we'll be following the Mounties closely in this Western Mass Tournament.
All right, thanks for having us, guys.
You're welcome.
Good luck, everybody.
So, you know, Rick, going back and taking a look at that Division III setup now that we see, you've got Wacona, Hampshire, Hoosick Valley, and Greenfield in the first 4 spots. They draw the byes in this setup, all right? And it leads us with a situation where you've got Savas playing East Hampton and Granby playing Greylock. Now, if Greylock is able to knock off Granby, that leaves Greylock playing another Berkshire County opponent in Hoosick Valley. That would be at Hoosick Valley on Thursday night. That's the 20th, I believe, correct?
Yeah, the girls are playing on Monday, Thursday, and the boys on Tuesday and Friday.
Right, Thursday and Friday. Okay, so the girls will play, their quarterfinal games will be next Thursday. The
27th,
for the girls, and the boys will be playing their quarterfinal games on Friday. So you look at that lineup, you can see the possibility of a Mount Greylock Hoosick Valley matchup. The winner of that Granby Hoosick Greylock game will play Hoosick Valley. So that'll be interesting. And what also sets up, you see this in Western Mass Division III, is the fact that you're going to potentially see a all Berkshire final if it plays out the way we think it's going to.
Yeah, they very well could. Yeah, that's. I'm glad to see the Berkshire County teams in there. They're very worthy.
Right now, we're pleased to be joined in studio by 2 players from the McCann girls team. We have juniors Grace Toller and Kaylee Tatro, and congratulations to McCann. The girls getting a D4 seed number 7 for McCann Tech. And let's just take a look quickly once again at the D4 girls seed so we can go through it with you. Again, we said Monson got the top seed, followed by Ware, Lenox, and Lee. But there you see at number 7, McCann Tech. So McCann Tech this year 11-9, Rick, and I think that is a worthwhile and worthy seed for them because of the schedule that they play.
Yeah, they won the Franklin West. They did a great job. They at times struggled to hit 500, and then they did, and then they took off and did what they had to do, and they beat the teams that they had to beat down the stretch. A little burp at the end of the season against Smith Academy, but it happens on certain nights. But I know that Coach Budai will have the girls ready that's a good seed for the Hornets. That's great. Congratulations on that. That's 7 if we're correct.
Right. And Kaylee, just want to ask you, looking at now, I know you guys are practicing, and these are projections. Have you played Pioneer Valley this year yet? Has McCann played? I did not quite know whether McCann played Pioneer Valley.
Drury did. I don't think McCann played them this year.
No, they didn't play them. Okay. Grace, you're back in the tournament. You made the tournament last year. You're back this year. I think you were probably looking, trying to go a little bit farther than you did last year.
Oh, definitely. My freshman year, we made it to the first round. My sophomore year, made it to the second round, and then I'm hopeful for obviously my junior year to make it to the third round. And I feel that as me and Kaylee keep going, closer to graduating, I feel like we keep getting better and better, and I'm hopeful that we actually keep working and we make it to the third round and hopefully, make it farther than we do.
Well, it's interesting looking at the projected seeds here, Grace, that if McCann is able to advance, they're really not going to play anybody from Berkshire County until the end, so to speak. If you can qualify and get down those semifinals, finals, you don't play Berkshire County to the end. So you're going to be playing teams from the Pioneer Valley and from Franklin and Hampden County more than Berkshire County in this tournament. So it's very interesting that you're going to avoid Berkshire County until potentially a championship game.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, not gonna lie, because it's almost like we play out of county so much during the regular season that we're still gonna continue to play out of county during the tournament.
Kaylee, as a junior, people that have seen your team or follow your team and see the paper and iBerkshires, for the last couple of years, we've talked about that on our show here often, that you and Grace and Izzy Lacasse, your point guard, have been your leading scorers. And you had a lot of senior leadership last year that you lost, but now you guys are becoming the leaders, even as juniors. But you've got a lot of young players that help you out. Does that make you a better team, Kaylee?
Yeah, of course it does. It's helped us a lot because as the years come, we get more and more players that actually know what they're doing, and it helps us out.
That's great. Yep.
Well, ladies, thank you for coming in to join us here on the Western Mass Tournament Preview Show. Of course, once again, we'll be following McCann as they proceed through this tournament. And we want to wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on a great season, and we hope to be covering you in this tournament in the semifinals if possible.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, girls. Good luck.
Thank you.
You know, Rick, talking a little bit, alluding to the setup here in Division IV, going back now to the Division III girls. I think anybody that's looked at the Division III action in Western Mass this year, throwing the seedings out for a minute, you look at Wahconah and you look at Hoosick, we think that they really are the top two teams in Western Mass in Division III.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about that on our show all the way through. The battles that Hoosick had with Wahconah were incredible. Wahconah had a tendency this year to play close ball games, win and lose. So Hoosick, a couple burps, especially to Taconic. No shame in that. A very, very strong D2 team at Taconic this year. They ended up winning the North outright. But once you get into Division III, our top two teams all along have been Wahconah and Hoosick. And at some point, it would be great if they could match up one more time.
And Wahconah, of course, led by Maria Gambaroni, Noelle Furlong, Julie Cody. This is a very, very talented squad. They don't necessarily score a lot of points, but you've got a Maria Gambaroni, as good a point guard as you'll find in Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, Coach K has built a really nice program down there, and I think it opened up a lot of eyes a couple of years ago when Hoosick did not get out of Cheshire, and that was very different for those girls. They had been to the cage so many years, and they went on a mission after that. And then, of course, the last couple of years they've been back, and it culminated with the state championship last year. So they know each other very well. Coach Wojcik will have his kids ready should that happen, but we don't want to jump the gun. It's early yet, and they're gonna have a quarterfinal game first, of course.
Right, and of course, as you alluded to, Hoosick Valley and Wahconah tangled twice this year and played two tremendous high school basketball games. And we talk about Wahconah. Hoosick Valley is just as talented. Very difficult team to defend, Rick, as we've talked about. A lot of different weapons. They play great defense. Different players step up at different times. They've had some great contributions by all of their seniors this year, and they've gotten it from all different players. So that's what makes Hoosick Valley, a very difficult team to defend.
Yeah, you never know who's going to be their leading scorer, and we said that all along. Last year, maybe a little bit with Allie and Lexi. But this year, I think they've given Coach Wojcik and his staff and Coach LeClaire everything they could ask for. It's a different style, different personality, different chemistry. but you never know. I mean, the lean score could have 11 points, could have everybody else with 10 and 9. So they just play as a team.
Well, we're pleased right now to have in studio with us 3 of those players, along with assistant coach Bob LeClaire. Joining us here, assistant coach Bob LeClaire, along with tri-captain Sarah Field, Riley Robinson, and Shayla Levesque. And first off, guys, congratulations on a great season. Played a very, very difficult schedule, very competitive schedule. And congratulations on once again qualifying for the Western Mass Division III tournament and an opportunity to defend your state championship.
Thank you.
And of course, Coach LeClaire, you heard us. I really thank you for joining us. And we talked a little bit about the Walker system. You heard Coach Downey talk about that and the fact that there's really no eyeball test given to it. But really, anybody that's followed high school basketball, the girls' high school basketball in Western Massachusetts, has got to acknowledge that you probably played the toughest schedule in reality in Division III.
And no question about it, Tim. 15 of the teams that we played out of our 20 are in the tournament. And if you look at some of the teams that we played, like you mentioned St. Mary's before, they're ranked number 1 in the state Division III. Millbury, we played them in a hoop hall game. They're ranked number 1 in Division III in Central Mass. And then we went down and just got back from Foxborough this past weekend. And Foxborough, and we could have played, but Old Rochester we did play. They're 17-3 in Division II. They're ranked number 3 in Division II. So we had probably, in my 10 years at Hoosick, this is probably the toughest, most challenging schedule we've had in my time there. And credit to the girls how well they played. We had a 9-6 record against all these teams, and that's pretty good for what we did. We played Taconic 3 times this year, so it was challenging. So.
Sarah, you heard me talking. I think this is what makes it so difficult. You guys, following Hoosick Valley this year, every night you've got perimeter players you've got several players that can hit from the perimeter. You really came out in the second half of the season from the outside. You were watching this year against Wacona. You had a huge game against Wacona at home, and you were on fire in that one. But it's just not you. If they try to defend you or you're off on a given night, you've got other players. Avery McGrath is outstanding from the perimeter. Riley Robinson has contributed as well as Shayla Levesque. It's just one player after another, Andy Canales. So it makes you a very difficult team to defend.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad we have a lot of players that can shoot on the perimeter, and starting 4 of the 5 players can all shoot 3, so it's hard to have 4 perimeter shooters on the court at the same time.
And Riley, of course, we talked a little bit about the seeds and where you guys ended up. You guys played Wacona twice. You had 2 very difficult games with them. You came out on the winning end on both of them. You guys know each other pretty well, so there's really no mystery to what each team is going to do to the other.
Yeah, it's coming into season. We know Wacona is going to be one of our greatest battles. They always are in tournament time, especially last year. That was a great victory for us, and the year before they knocked us out. So it's always back and forth between us and Wacona, so we're just going to see what happens in this tournament.
Right. Shelley, I hope I didn't insult you when we were talking about Maria Gambaroni as being one of the top point guards in Western Mass, because you've kind of drawn the assignment to guard her. You had an outstanding game really against defensively against Wacona, down at Wacona, and you did a nice job harassing her back at Hoosick Valley. So what is it like? I mean, you really get these tough defensive assignments.
Yeah, Coach always tells me their weaknesses, and I just try to pick them apart. And it's good having my teammates behind me to help me just in case she does beat me.
When I see Tim watching the Hoosick girls, and it's not much of a question for the kids, it's just a statement basically. But when you've got the kids that can handle the basketball. That's a big difference. Everybody out there can handle the basketball. When you can handle the basketball, you can pretty much do anything. And when you've got Shailene Riley that can co-point guard and be consistent all the time, that's just a plus. And then, as you said, that with their intensity and their pressure and the three-point shooting, anybody can stay in the game when you're hot. And then, Huzik has had a couple tough games when the ball wasn't falling for him. But hopefully that'll all get straightened out here. And I said right from the start, once they get into Division III, there's still a team to beat. I'm sorry, but in my eyes, there's still the team to beat.
Well, that's how we feel about it. It looks like I said, the season has played itself out. The good thing is if it looks like there's a possibility you could have an all-Berkshire final here with Wahconah and Hoosick Valley. That's how I think it'll turn out. I think it'll be a great opportunity for Berkshire County to see the top two teams in Division III battle. But a long way to go. That's just a projection. But we want to thank the Lady Hurricanes and Coach LeClaire for coming in on this tournament preview show. As we project, Hoosick Valley, number 3 seed. So they're going to have a bye in the opening round, and they will play the winner, as we project, of a Greylock-Granby preliminary round game. I want to thank you girls for coming in. Congratulations on another outstanding season of high school basketball at Hoosick Valley, and we want to wish you the best of luck in this Division III Western Mass tournament coming up, and we'll be following you at your home game next Thursday.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good luck, girls. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us now to Division IV. So let's throw the Division IV seeds up there, Rick. And this is another interesting seeding projection that we have. As you see up on the board, Bay State got the number 1 seed that we project on the Walker rating system, and Drury gets the number 2 seed. Now this is interesting because once again, Rick, I don't think there's any comparison to the schedule that Bay State played as opposed to Drury, and Drury beat Bay State.
Yeah, Drury beat Bay State. Supposedly one of their top scorers was out, but nevertheless, they're going to be formidable. I think Drury had the tougher schedule just being in Berkshire County and having to play in the north and to play Wahconah, Hoosick, PHS, and Taconic each twice. They also played a pretty difficult schedule non-league. They, of course, knocked off Hopkins in the opening classic down at the Cage this year for the second year in a row. But it is what it is, and the most important thing is they get a bye. And I talked to Coach Reset the other day, and he said, well, you know what? If we get the bye, we get the bye. We'll just scrimmage and we'll work hard. But if not, then we'll just play the schedule out. But most importantly, Drury will get a home game. Coach Reset also said, Tim, that if possible, he was kind of hoping he wouldn't have to play a team he's already played. And we took a look at it. We shuffled a few things around, and for a while it looked like Drury might get Lennox again or Ware.
Right.
2 teams have already played this year. But with what we hope comes out tomorrow, and we know we're pretty close, and hopefully right on, that they're actually going to get the winner of Franklin Tech and Turner's Falls, 2 teams that the Blue Devils have not seen. And I think it would be a real good matchup for the boys.
So Drury will play the quarterfinal game. That will be played next Friday up at Drury. And they're going to play, as we said, that winner of that game. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out of that preliminary game to play Drury next Friday night. And right now, we are pleased to have from the defending Division IV Western Mass champion Drury Blue Devils with us, Scott McGuire, Hunter Sarkis, and Keegan Vidal. Guys, thank you very much for joining us here on this tournament preview show. And we want to start off first, Scott. You got the number 2 seed, and maybe a little bit of a snub there, the way it worked out. But you've had a great season at Drury, and you got the bullseye on your back no matter what seed you are. I'm sure the other teams in Division IV are going to look to try to dethrone Drury this year.
Like we said, I don't think anybody wants to play us. Like, we're the defending Western Mass championships, and just our style of play, I don't think anybody wants to come in, especially our gym, and have to face us.
Well, you can see here, we're showing some clips here of you, Scott, and of course you've had a great season, becoming the all-time leading scorer at Drury High School, and also one of the top scorers in the history of basketball in Berkshire County. And You know, you guys playing Division IV, you play that very, very difficult division, that Northern Division schedule of Berkshire County. How do you think that's prepared you for tournament play?
It's actually very convenient for us. I mean, we play Taconic twice. They went to states the past 2 years. I mean, we played Wacona twice, which is a very good D3 team. Monument's even a contender in D3. We played Greylock. I mean, those teams in the upper division help us a lot, especially seeing like Taconic, wicked tough team. I mean, they're big. We just helps us a lot, especially.
Keegan, I know that I've said to you before, it's really been our pleasure covering you for 4 years, 3 at McCann, and now this year at Drury. And your dream's kind of coming true because you had told me during a recent interview that's why you wanted to go to Drury. You wanted to play, with some of your buddies and some of the guys that you grew up with, and play a better caliber, a little higher caliber of basketball. There's nothing better than Berkshire County North, Keegan, right?
I agree. I mean, it makes me a better player. I mean, I love playing with these guys. Like, I played AAU with them for a while. Just feels a lot better being with them. I feel more at home.
And Hunter, one of the things you and I talk about a lot is, just growing up. I just watch your game just get better and better and better. And when you were at Greylock your first year and then transferred to Drury, you still had that 3-point specialty shot. But then, as you grew a little bit, you started taking the ball inside, and you have really, really changed your game a lot, and you're becoming a force inside. That's got to help your overall game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've been working on developing other aspects of my game. People used to just play me, try to get me to dribble to the hoop, but now, I'm hoping to still knock down some shots and be the same old player, but when I need to attack the hoop, I can do that.
Scott, this is you're finishing a great career at Drury. You are going into this tournament as a Division IV Western Mass defending champions. And of course, you're going to play teams, the possibility here sets up for a 1-2 matchup with Bay State Academy. What can you tell us about Bay State from the first time you played them?
We came in, we just had to be disciplined, knowing we watched film on them, we studied them. I mean, no disrespect, but their defense, wasn't really there. So if we stay disciplined, run our offense, get up the floor as fast as we can and score, it was going to be they like to score the ball a lot, so we try to make them slow it down, make them make basketball plays, and we came out on top even without their best scorer there.
Guys, thanks a lot for coming in today. Congratulations on an outstanding season for the Drury Blue Devils. You got the number 2 seed in Division IV. You are the defending Division IV Western Mass champions. We want to wish you the best of luck in the upcoming tournament. We'll be watching you, and of course, we'll be covering Northern Berkshire Community Television. We'll be covering your quarterfinal game next Friday night. Whoever it's against, the Northern Berkshire Community Television will be there to cover it and bring everybody all the action. So congratulations and best of luck in the Division IV Western Mass tournament.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
That brings us to the final division, Rick, and it's the Division III boys. And this is quite a lineup of teams that we got. And we can see Division III here. Here are our projected seeds. Number 1, Narragansett, followed by, of course, Sabas. They always seem to get in there, Rick, due to the strength of schedule at 12 and 8. But you see, right behind them at number 3, Frontier, a solid Frontier squad. Wacona gets the number 4 seed. And surprisingly, Rick, we got Monument Mountain, I think, as the 6th seed at 15 and 5. I thought that was a little bit of a surprise. And of course, you see Greylock at 14 and 6, and then Cusick Valley, they qualified with that exciting victory over Drury last week at 10 and 10 there at the 13 seed. So they're going to open up, we project, down Tuesday night at Wacona.
Yeah, that's going to be a great matchup, and the Hurricanes really opened a lot of eyes before the Drury win their biggest win, I think, by far, was against a very, very good Wacona team in Dalton. That place is very, very tough to play. It opened a lot of eyes and said, boy, this Hoosick Valley boys team, they're really peaking at the right time. And then it got to the point where they needed that 10th win. And I took a look at the schedule and I said, geez, you know what? I think it's going to be either PHS or Drury that they're going to beat. And they did. They did what they had to do. And that North, show me a league anywhere like that Berkshire North. It's just incredible.
Yep. And we're pleased to have with us 4 members of that Hurricane team that qualified for the Division III Western Mass Tournament by virtue of that victory over Drury. We have with us seniors Cole DeRoche, Zach Swistock, Isaiah Stubbs, and sophomore Logan Davis. And guys, again, congratulations on qualifying for the Division III Western Mass Tournament. And I guess I'd throw out to Isaiah right off the bat here. It looks like you guys are going to play round number 3 against Wacona, a team that you guys have battled twice this year and had some success with, especially down at Wacona. How does it feel to give a shot at game number 3 with them, Isaiah?
It feels great, actually. I mean, I want to come out with a victory, obviously, but it's tough to play at Wacona. It's a tough environment. Their fan section, their crowd is just so loud, but we can pull it out. We did it once. We can do it again.
Right. Should be a huge crowd down there, Cole, and of course, you look at it. You're very familiar with this Wacona team, so there's again, you're not going to see anything you haven't seen previously when you play them.
Yeah, we're just gonna come out and keep fighting like we have been all season. I think if we come out with a hot start, we'll be good.
Yeah, I'd ask you. One of the things I take away from that victory over Drury was quite an atmosphere up at Hoosick Valley. The place was really filled up, and a game like that, I think, would prepare you for the pressures of tournament play.
Definitely, with our fan section, even with so many fans, we have Nolan Roberts leads it with big mouth, and he's a Red Sea, so he's good. Yeah.
Logan, I kind of look at you a little bit like Keegan or like Jackson Owensby that transferred, and you're playing some good caliber basketball. Again, it's the same thing I said to Keegan is. It's one thing to play the Pioneer Valley teams. It's another thing to play Berkshire County teams. But you think it's made you an overall better player, Logan?
Yeah, playing in the North has definitely made me a better player. I think the competition's better. I think playing with my old friends that I grew up playing with in the travel leagues and just Berkshire County is just a good environment for me again.
And Isaiah, I just ask you, I guess having played Wacona twice so far this season, what do you think are the biggest defensive challenges you guys face playing a pretty talented Wacona squad?
It's not really much talent that we have on our team. It's just we are workers. We're blue collar. We have to get the little things done, the basics done. We have to get the basics done. All the skillful stuff comes, and that's what happens.
Well, guys, we want to thank you for joining us. We want to congratulate you on a tremendous season and qualifying for Western Mass Division III. We're going to be following all the action for Hoosick Valley as the tournament goes along. I want to wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll be covering you down the road, perhaps in the cage. So congratulations to Hoosick
Congratulations,
Valley.
guys. Thanks for coming in tonight. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Rick, that does it. We've gone through all of the Divisions 3 and 4, both boys and girls, and it's shaping up to be an outstanding Western Mass tournament coming up.
It's going to be great, Tim. If our projections are right, and we'll find out tomorrow at noontime when they come out officially, the McCann girls may get a home game. If they get a home game, then Northern Berkshire Community Television will be there on Monday. We also will be there on Friday, the 28th, for the Drury boys, and I know you'll be doing the Hoosick Valley girls next week.
And before we sign off, Rick, I want to thank our production staff, Peter Gentile, our director, Dave Fabiano. A special call out to Jeff Basilio from Pittsfield Community Television, who assisted us in this broadcast. It just could not be done without them. We want to thank them for this production of this Western Mass Tournament Preview Show. And we say to you, our high school basketball fans, If you want to see some great high school basketball action, you want to catch this Western Mass tournament, the nearest game closest to you. So, Rick, Bua, this is Tim Morey saying good night.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.